Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to Water Wednesday. If this is the first time you tune in Water Wednesday, what is Water Wednesday? Water Wednesday is a group of agents and specialists with University of Florida. We provide science-based information on water every Wednesday afternoon at 2 Eastern Time. So today's topic is a little bit different from last few Water Wednesdays. Today is all about toilet. So you can see I'm in the bathroom. And just realized I forgot to introduce myself. Again, if you just turn in, my name is Yiling Zhuang. I'm the Water Resources Regional Specialized Agent in Central District. So if this is the first time you turn into Water Wednesday, you may wonder what is extension. So if this is the first time you heard of extension, so I always say the best way to describe extension is we are the extension of University of Florida. We provide science-based information, research-based information to public. So we have different formats how we deliver the information to the public. So we have traditional like in-person workshops, we can do one-on-one consultation, we have field days, and like today is a Facebook Live event. So like I said, today's Wednesday is a little bit different because I'm in the bathroom. So that's where I'm going to show you all about your toilets. So if we go back a little bit, so it's like why? Why do we care this issue, like why toilets can be a problem? So there are some statistics show like Florida water use, household water use. So generally about 60% of water is used outdoor. So it's used in irrigation. So just like last Wednesday, Dr. Nama Samuel went through Florida for Florida-friendly landscaping. So she introduced how Florida-friendly landscaping can help save water. And if we look back, then 40% of water is used indoors. And among the 40%, so about 11% of the 40% of water will use to flush the toilets. So that's a really big part of that chart, a pie chart. We use our portable, drinkable fresh water to flush the toilet. So if we want to protect our precious water resources, we can start from the toilet. So my first question is, do you know how much water your toilet uses? So there are a few ways you can find out how much water your toilet uses. So let me switch to the back camera. I don't think I can switch to the back camera, which is okay. So I'm going to show you is where you can find how much water your toilet uses. There are two common places you can find where how much water your toilet uses. So let me just switch the camera. Now you can see this is the toilet. This is a household toilet. It's a little bit awkward position. So one place you can find is right here. So sometimes it's just behind the bowl. You can see the unit is called a GPF. GPF means gallon per flush. So it tells you how much water this toilet uses for every flush. So for this toilet, it's 1.6 gallon per flush. So that's the first place where you can find how much water your toilet uses. And there's another place you can usually find is if you cannot find it right here, then another place you can find it's inside the water tank. So what I'm going to do is just lift the lid, put it down. So like I said, if you cannot find it right here, then it's inside the water tank. So you can find some number here. So like I'm trying to keep my laptop stable. So it's same, it's here. So if you read, you can see it's right here. It's 1.6 GPF. So again, GPF stands for gallon per flush. So those are the places you can find how much water your toilet uses. Then what does 1.6 mean? So 1.6 means it's a newer toilet. So for toilets made before 1994, so they basically can use water from 3.6 gallons to 8 gallons. So you think about it, just every flush is 8 gallons. So old toilets tend to use a lot of water. So if you check your toilet and you find out they use more than 3.6 gallons of water per flush, especially for those old toilets, they use like 6 gallons per flush. What you can do is you get a water bottle. So you fill that water bottle with water and then you put into the tank. So just let me show you. So since this one only uses 1.6 gallons per flush, so I'm not going to put a water bottle into the tank. But what you can do is if your toilet, like here I say, if you see 6 gallons, then you fill a water bottle with water, like those 500 ml, about that volume, that bottle. You fill with water and put into tank. So in that way, you can reduce the volume of water in the tank. Then every flush, so it won't be 6 gallons. But if your toilet doesn't use more than if your toilet doesn't use more than 3.6 gallons of water, then please do not put a water bottle in the tank. Because in that way, when you reduce the volume of the water in the tank, you also reduce the pressure. Then the pressure won't be high enough to flush down what's in your toilet. So the rule of thumb, usually it's like old toilet. So I would say more than 3.6 gallons. And another way you can do is if you have old toilet, some utilities now, they provide rebates. So you can call your local utility, see if they can offer you like a toilet rebate program. I know for a lot of municipalities in last month, April is the water conservation month. So they did some water conservation campaign, including toilet rebate campaign. So something else that you can do is just call your local utility to find out if they are doing any toilet rebate programs. And something else also about indoor water use. So remember I mentioned 40% of water is used indoors, and among that 40%, 11% of water is used to flush the toilet. And believe it or not, around 6 to 7% of water is wasted through leaky. And where you can find the water leaks the most, it's your toilet. So you can see our toilet is not that innocent. Our toilet oftentimes is the cut of our water, like high water use. So to find out if your toilet is leaky, so it's also very simple. I know some utilities, they gave you those water leak detected tablets. So you don't really have to have those leak tabs. What you can do, it's like here, I already got that. All you need is just a food coloring. So you need a food coloring. And then let me show you, let me open the lid first. So you need a food coloring, and then you just get a few drops of water into the toilet tank. It's just the tank here. So you add about one and 2 drops of food coloring. So let me show you. So 1 and 2. I think I add more than 2. You can see here. I add some food colorings. Then after you add food coloring into the tank, then don't use the toilet for about 20 minutes. So I already add food coloring, so I will just leave it there and continue our talk about our toilets. So that part is about like how much water your toilet use and to find out if your toilet is leaking or not. So in about 10 to 15 minutes, we can find out if my toilet is leaking or not. So, because to make sure I checked yesterday again, so I don't think my toilet is leaking. So hopefully today's Facebook Live is not gonna show, hey, my toilet is leaking. But even if my toilet is leaking, then my next episode, it can be to show you how to change the flapper. Because oftentimes your toilet, because the flapper in your toilet, it's just rubber, it wears out really quick. Then we find out when your toilet is leaking, oftentimes it's just that flapper need to be changed. And to change that flapper costs no more than $5. So if it's needed, you can just leave in the comment. I can make you a YouTube video how to change the flapper, because that's my personal experience. So when I was renting, my toilet was leaking. So I had to change the flapper by myself. The first time I changed that, I would say, it was so simple, but meanwhile, it was so difficult. Because you went to any stores to find a flapper. So they all call themselves universal, but they are not really universal. So you have to find the right flapper for your toilet. So I will suggest the best way to do that is if you need to change the flapper, so take that flapper to the store and just find the same one, and then you put it back. Again, if you want to know how to change your flapper, just leave a comment and I will make a YouTube video. Okay, so I talked about water quantity part. Then the next part, it's like, what can you flush? What can you flush it down to your toilet? So, especially like time like now, it is really hard to find toilet paper. So for me, it's like I went to a few grocery stores, I still couldn't find the toilet paper. So basically, just try your luck if you can find toilet paper or not. So due to the shortage of toilet paper, people are getting very creative. So I saw something, it's like people even cutting their t-shirts and use the like fabric as toilet paper. Or now it's like you may also see news utilities now, it's just like their lift stations are clogged and they're having more and more issues with what's flushing down into the toilet. So what can you flush it down to the toilet? It can be very simple. So I always use 4 P's. So remember, only 4 P's down to the toilet. So we all know the first 2 P's, right? So that's it, just like coming out of us, the first 2 P's. So who wants to take a guess? What's the next 2 P's? So do we have any guesses? Let me see if I have any comments. Okay, I don't see any comments at this point. So I will just go ahead to say the next 2 P's. It's quite gross. But again, I'm in the bathroom and we are talking about toilet. So it is not as pleasant. So besides the first 2 P's, then the next is puke and paper. So besides these 4 P's, you don't want to flush anything down to the toilet. Oh, I see someone just type paper. Right, paper. So if we go back, the 4 P's, I really want to say it loud, but still I'm going to say it loud. What are the 4 P's? So it's like pee, poop, puke, and paper. So when it comes to paper, then the question is what paper? Like I said, due to the shortage of toilet paper, people are getting very creative. So some people are using, they are using baby wipes. They are using flushable wipes or using paper towels. So can they, not really can they, the question is should you flush these so-called paper down to the toilet? So let's find out. That's also some experiment you can also do at home with your family. If you have little kids, I think it will be quite entertaining just to do a science project with your kids. So here, I already got paper. I already got water. So you can see I got 3 bowls of water. I don't know why I cannot switch my camera, so it gets a little bit inconvenient. But you see I got 3 bowls of water, right? And let me also show you what else I got here. I think you can, it's not perfect. Let me put it back, the toilet lid. So I think in that way you can see a little bit better. So I have 3 bowls, and this is the paper towel. So I already pre-cut it. I just got a bowl of water, and I got a paper towel. So let's just put it into water. And this is, I cut a small piece of baby wipes. So I couldn't find flushable wipes. So this time I just use a regular wipes as a demonstration. So I put it into water too. And this is toilet paper. And again, I put the toilet paper also into the water. So let's just leave it there for a few minutes and we can see what happened later. So I couldn't find, I went to the store, I meant to buy flushable wipes, but I didn't see any flushable wipes. So I didn't do the experiment by myself, but Wes, it's the Water and Environmental Federation. So that's a large organizations for environmental professionals. They did a comparison study. So it's how easy for flushable wipes to break it down in water. So in their experiment, those labeled as flushable wipes, they don't break down easily in water. So they are not significant different from regular wipes. So like I said, unfortunately I couldn't get flushable wipes. If you had chance to get flushable wipes, I highly encourage you to do this experiment just to see. It's like after you let flushable wipes sit in water for a few minutes, how does it dissolve? Because the study I read conducted by WEF, it said even after 24 hours, the flushable wipes still didn't dissolve or break it down. So which means if they didn't break down, they will clog together. So it doesn't matter if you are a utility user. So if you have public sewer or septic tank. So as long as the paper, you flush it down to the toilet, doesn't break down, so it will clog together. So it will either clog the lift station. They may not even make their way to the wastewater treatment plant. So they may just stop at a lift station. Then when the lift station is clogged, there's no way to automatic way to unclog it. So those water operators, they have to manually remove those materials or whatever clog the lift stations. So for water operators, when they have to remove, I don't know if you've seen them when they remove a clogged lift station. So that's basically, it's just like you can use your wild imagination, whatever you can think of in your household. You probably are able to find it in a wastewater treatment plant. So I interned at a wastewater treatment plant when I was in college. So for the wastewater treatment plant, the first treatment process is called screening. So they have a big screen just to filter out all the big, not even particles, I would say just big stuff. So when I interned in the wastewater treatment plant, I saw sneakers, I saw furniture. So at this point, I still don't know how people can flush down their toilet, or how can flush down their furniture into the toilet. So that must be a really, really powerful toilet. But anyhow, if we go back to the lift station, so who want to take a guess? What are the common materials clog lift stations? So I know it takes there's a lag here and you might be typing. So I will let you type and I will hold on to that answer a little bit. I'm looking forward to see your comments. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you are like a public sewer, you're a public utility user, or use septic tank. Because if you are septic tank users, then it's even worse. Because when you have a septic tank, so we call it a septic tank. Actually, it's not just a tank. It's a tank plus a drain field. So when it's your tank, in that tank, you don't have anything else but natural occurring bacteria to break down any solids. So anything you throw it into the toilet. So for those natural occurring bacteria, they are unable to break down a lot of things. So like your toilet paper, your toilet paper, yes, because it's very easy to break down in water. But anything else, basically, if you introduce solids into the tank, you add that layer, like the solid layer at the bottom of your tank. When the solid layer accumulates, but you don't pump your septic tank frequently, then this layer of solid will be washed out to your drain field. And for your drain field, it's perforated pipes. So when those perforated pipes are clogged by the solid in the tank, there's no way to unclog it. The only way to unclog it is just to replace the drain field. So that's what I meant for the 4 Ps. It applies to both the septic tank users and the utility users. Keep in mind, don't throw anything cannot be biodegradable into your toilet. And I'm looking at the comments here, said wipes, pads, and tampons. Yes, they are. So they are basically the top 3 items we see clog our lift stations a lot. So I know when I teach that class, some class attendees will tell me, it's like, hey, you go tell my daughters or you go tell my wives, so see if they listen to you. So I'm like, there's a really easy way. If you want them to realize how gross it is, if you are interested, also leave in a comment. I can organize a field trip. I can take your kids to see a lift station to be unclogged. So when your kids or when people like who don't believe that will clog the toilet, when they see the lift station, they will know how much work it is for water operators. Okay, so that's basically what I want to cover. It's like all about your toilet. So let's see. I already I think it's about 10 minutes ago, 10 to 15 minutes ago, I add a few drops of water into the water tank. So first, let me turn around the camera, because I put my camera on top of the toilet. So you can see it's getting very bluish. So what you want to do now, because you add food coloring into the tank, right? Then the next thing is, like I said, this presentation is a little bit gross. So you may want to do that. You would want to do that after you clean the toilet. Then what you want to do is look into the bowl, the toilet bowl. Do you see any color in the toilet bowl? So you wait for, like I said, you wait for about 20 minutes. Then if for like this toilet, you don't see any color in this toilet, which means your toilet is not leaking. So I highly encourage you to do this test for each of your toilet. And even what I do is I usually keep a routine. So I don't check that like every month. It's not that frequent, but once a year when I do my household routine. So I check, like for example, you change the battery of your smoke detector. So that can be also the time you add that to the list. You check if your toilet is leaking or not. So like I said, those rubbers are very easy to wear out. That's a good like household practice that you want to keep and make sure your toilet is not leaking. And let me put this lid back, and then I can get my computer here. Then what I want to show you, because this you may not see that much difference now, because I just put it in about 5 minutes. 5 minutes you don't usually see a lot of difference, but again we can give it a try. Usually it's like you wait for about 15 minutes. It's a really good time frame. So let me adjust my computer. Sorry, it's a little bit shaking. So what I want to do is actually it's the last I put there is toilet paper. So you can see it's like if I want to grab a corner of the toilet paper, it's already breaking. So I already got a piece of toilet paper here. You can see how easy for toilet paper to break down. And this is baby wipes. So even I poke fingers into it, and my finger couldn't go through the wipes. And this is paper towel. And paper towel is also, I try to tear it apart and just use my fingers. Again, it's a little bit hard. So for this experiment, you can see it's for toilet paper, it's very easy to break down. I would say it's only 5 minutes, and now you already see toilet paper. It's like I can show you again for toilet paper. It might be easier in this way. Lighting is better. So if I just grab the corner, you can see it's already breaking down. So the corner, just easily just to pick out the corner. And for anything else, even like paper towel, you can still pick it up. And something else you can also try, it's I highly encourage you to do this experiment with your kids, because it's very visual and it can also help them to understand what you should flush it down to the toilet. So other thing you can try is napkins. I did this experiment a few weeks ago, so I can share the link of that video so you can see how napkins break it down in water. So the results basically are the same. Besides toilet paper, no other papers easily break it down in water. And it just occurred to me, one more thing I forgot to mention is also what you can, like when it comes to cleaning the toilet. Because I said it's a little bit gross, right? You want to clean your toilet. Then what you can use to clean your toilet. So I would say any cleaner in moderation. So it is fine. Even you have a septic tank, you use those toilet cleaner in moderation, like bleach in moderation. It's not really a big deal. Like I said, for your septic tank, it's inside the tank, it's natural occurring bacteria. So it is the natural occurring bacteria break down the organic matters. So those bacteria can be very fragile, but they are not that fragile. So any cleaner in moderation is alright. But when you dump a whole bottle of bleach into your toilet, then in that way, your septic tank, like the bacteria in your septic tank, will be dead for sure. And if you are a utility user, so for utility user, oftentimes it's what you use to clean your toilet, it may not be as critical as septic tank users, because it's the water, like the sewer coming out of your house will be combined with the sewer coming out of your neighbor's house, the neighbor's house, and the neighbor's house. So basically it will be diluted. But again, just use it cautious. Because another, like, also keep in mind that those harsh chemicals, it can also cause some erosion of your pipes. So even like inside the toilet. So that's also something you don't want that to happen. I think I basically covered everything all about your toilets. So I'm looking at the comments here. It's from Miss Stacy said, this will be a great school trip for middle schoolers and high schoolers. I totally agree with you. When we take, I truly believe when you take people to go to a wastewater treatment plant, or just go see how a lift station is get cleaned. So you will be very impressed by our daily, like how our daily practices are affecting other people's life. Okay, so that's it for today's Water Wednesday. So do you have any questions? So you can just leave in the comment. I will wait for a few more minutes just to see if you have any comments. And I also want to let you know for next month in June, so we will do our Water Wednesdays focused on rain. You know, June marks our hurricane season. And also it's the start of our raining season. So for June Water Wednesday topics, we have first just a rain barrel basics, just to let you know what is like rain harvesting. So the background of our rain barrel, and then we'll show you how to build a rain barrel. After that, it will be how to check if your rain sensor is working or not. And we will also have hurricane preparedness Water Wednesday. So just stay tuned, and you will find out more and more interesting water topics. So I'm checking my comments again, and I don't see any comments. So thank you for all your time. Tune in for today's Water Wednesday, and I will post a recorded video to the YouTube channel and also a link on my Facebook page. Thank you again, and you all have a good afternoon. Bye.